different spot right now. Hello. Good morning, everyone. I am here live on my YouTube channel and my Facebook group, Mindfully Fit for Life. This is Liz Philippone, and I am so excited to be talking about the smart way to think about supplements. And I know you can see me right now. I'm in a different spot. I'm actually at my kitchen table. I'm just going to move some things, out of the way here to make it somewhat clean looking. If you are joining me live, say hello, whether you are on YouTube or Facebook. And I'm going to get started in a moment here. I'm super excited. So you're probably like, why am I in a different spot? And also, my throat is it's fine. I'm not sick or anything, but my throat is like, I don't know if you ever go to sleep at night and wake up in the middle of the night. Like, we've been having the heat jacked up really high because it's been so cold. So I'm probably going to make this live a little short, but definitely informative. So if you are joining me live, please say hello. Hi, Flo. Nice to, well, I can't see you, but glad you could join me. I'm always saying that. Nice to see you, but you're not there. So I am going to be talking about the smart way to think about supplements. And of course, I have been talking about creatine this month. That's sort of been the theme for this month. So I'm going to continue to talk about that. But everything I'm going to talk about is something you should consider with all supplements. All right. Even the ones on Amazon. I'm just going to say that because that just came to me immediately. And I'll tell you why in a moment. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my notes and we are going to get the ball rolling here. So this is really about staying informed, right? And also being safe, right? Especially with supplements. I'm not here to push supplements. I'm not here to push, because especially creatine, because that's been my highlight topic, and not everybody can take creatine, and that's okay. I'm going to tell you, I'm actually going to share some things or share some other ways you can get creatine in your diet without taking supplements, because I'm going to, hello, I know, Christine, winter dryness, it is here. It is totally here. So I hope I don't sound bad, but yeah, it's been a little rough here. I'm going to have to see how the day goes because I got some more talking I have to do today. Anyway, going back to creatine, it's not for everybody, right? If you have liver or kidney things going on, it's very contraindicated. So this is really about education and just making that informed choice, and making an informed choice really with any product you use or service. I'm just going to put that in there too. Please, yeah, or Costco. I was reading your comment, Christine. Costco, yeah. Thank you for putting that in there. We want to, I know the price, right, always seems right, especially in this day and age, but we really want to think about quality, right, when it comes to supplementation. So I'm just going to get into it. So thank you so much for being here, being on this live, whether you're in my Facebook group or on YouTube. So, why supplementation? Sometimes there's a hesitation with supplementation. And that's really because there's lack of education, right? Misinformation, right? And I'm also going to put this out there is that, supplements aren't approved by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, right? Like anybody can just create a supplement, a thing, and put it out there. I mean, I'm sure there's things they have to follow, but in the US, it's it's different, right? And I'm going to say this because it just popped into my head. There are some things that, products, I'm going to say beauty products, supplements, things like that, that you put into your body and on your body, on your hair, ingest, all that stuff, that there's ingredients that we use, the US, that are actually banned in other countries like Canada and Europe and things like that. Like those countries are like, oh, that's a carcinogen, or that's not good for your body, so we're not going to put that in our products. Think about that. Okay. I know it's the way it is here. It is, right? And we keep going, right? But like, there is such a thing as toxic buildup, and toxic buildup that can happen in your system. Remember, your liver and your kidneys are like the human filtration system. Okay. Your skin is an organ. It absorbs everything and goes right to your bloodstream. I'm not saying this to scare you because when I learned all this, like years ago, when I started really looking at the products I was using, I've used a couple of different products that, especially beauty products that were out of England, Australia. Like I kind of really went there. A lot of those products didn't have the ingredients that the products we have here in the US. And it was just something I felt really strongly about, and I still feel really strongly about. Yes, it gets really hard, I know, when it comes to knowing what's safe. And I know I'm going to just say it's cost, right? It's cost of things too. It all matters. It all matters. But at the end of the day, it's like, what is like one thing I can do to reduce or decrease that toxic buildup? Does this make sense? Let me know in the comments if this makes sense. If you're watching the replay, even, I would like to know, right? And this has been happening for for years and years and years. So just be mindful, right? And I think that's probably like the biggest meat of this conversation when it comes to supplements. Really know what you're buying. Research it. All right. So let's see. Yeah, let me know in the comments if all of this is making sense. So I'm going to just talk about creatine for a moment. The company that I am partnered with and I use products, supplements from is Hue and Grace. And, they definitely do their homework. They make sure everything is clean. They make sure everything is from a good source. They do outsource a lot of their ingredients from Canada, right? Which is pretty cool, right? I think that's pretty cool, right? Because they really believe in quality. So with creatine, you always want to ask, like, is it safe at my age? How does it support strength, right? When I'm trying to build better strength in my body, strengthen my muscles so that I can do my daily routines, right? Of going up and down stairs without pain and, without struggling, lifting heavy things and things like that. I always talk about that in this group, in my Facebook group. How can I take it, right? There's so many different ways you can take it. And, is it necessary, right? It's not something that everybody has to take, right? Because I did say at the beginning that you can find creatine in food. It's in food if you can't do the supplementation. So creatine is it's naturally produced in the body. It is. It's something that we naturally have in the body. And of course, as we age, it breaks, it's not there as much. Okay. Especially if our diet changes, if our nutritional needs change, right? So it is found in food. And, as I'm looking at it, it's finding in food. I mean, it's hard. I feel bad for the vegetarians and the vegans because it is found in dairy products, but if you're vegan, sorry. But actually, when I was researching certain plant-based foods that provide the amino acids, right? Glycine, arginine, and methionine. I can't even say it, pardon me. So that would come from like seeds, nuts, and beans. All right, there is a little bit there. It's just not as rich. So the foods that I'm saying here are herring, like fish, beef, salmon and tuna, pork, chicken and turkey, and cod. They all have, I'm going to say herring has like 6.5 to 10 grams per kilogram. Beef contains 4.5 grams per kilogram. If I want to go down, there's a good amount of it in meat, right? Which makes sense, right? Animals we're warm-blooded as well. That all makes sense to me. But there is, you can get it from plants. And then, of course, dairy products like eggs. Where was my other list here? Dairy nut. So eggs, small amounts, right? It's small in smaller amounts. But the fish and the meat, that's definitely, there's more in there. So it makes sense, right? Because that's where there's a lot of protein, iron, all the amino acids you need are in those foods. So why wouldn't that help your muscles stay lean, strong, and healthy, right? So that's just some information there. If you can't do the supplementation, right? And creatine, it supports your muscle function. It doesn't create muscle without movement. Okay, so it just supports the muscle function, right? You still have to move. You still have to do strength training. Okay. Sorry, you can't just skip over that. All right. I'm definitely going to speak up about that one, is that, you can't just skip over strength training and take the supplement. You can't just take it and think that's going to make me stronger. No, it supports your muscle function. Absolutely. Cognition, cognitive health. But you still have to move. You still have to move and work your muscles. So going back to quality here. So you want to look at purity, right? So when you're looking at your supplements, looking at the ingredients, what's in it. Don't look at the nutrition label thing. I say that about food too. Sorry, my cat's going to want to get in here in a second. You got to look at the ingredients. What is in the product? Can you pronounce everything? And do you know what each thing is, right? There's all those weird sounding names. So always look at purity, and always the first thing that's listed in your ingredients has the most in it. Everything that goes towards the end of the ingredients list is less of. You can ask any dietitian, nutrition coach about that. So if the first ingredient in your supplement is the thing, awesome. Right? I mean, some of the combination, like in the Longevity Core Plus, there's clear whey protein isolate, there's bovine collagen, and creatine monohydrate. So it's going to list those three things first. And then the other types of flavoring that they use and whatnot. Okay? So always look at purity. And then third-party testing. I know Hue and Grace does third-party testing. I know a bunch of other there's a lot of companies out there that do third-party testing. I know Kion, Kion, that's another company that I've bought products from. They do third-party testing as well, where they make sure that things are safe and effective. right? They're just not giving you a bunch of fillers and things and calling it that thing. All right, I hope this is making sense. And with dosage, more is not better. I mean, I think with supplements, always start small. And again, you want to ask your doctor, right? Always ask your doctor if things, can I take this? Should I take this? Especially if you're on different medication. And of course, you have any other underlying health issue. And the consistency of the dosage too, right? Like sometimes with dosage, sometimes it takes, you might not feel something right away. When I started taking Longevity Core Plus, I didn't feel anything right away the first time I drank it. I'm going to be completely honest. I believe I shared that. It was like the third or fourth time using it. It was like, woo, all of a sudden, I just felt this like really great boost of energy. And I have noticed my muscle, like I have noticed more tone. I don't know. I just, being as body conscious as I am, I definitely have felt a difference. So, and this matters a lot in midlife, right? As we reach our midlife and older, later in life, right? We may need supplementation, and that's why it's good. I know some doctors, when you see your doctor, they're just like, oh yeah, just go to the CVS and get blah, 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 or go to GNC and get blah, blah, blah. Or you can just go on Amazon and get it, right? Like that's all fine and dandy. And it's probably cheaper. And I'm not saying like you can't buy certain things that are safe at Whole Foods or something like that. But I would, like I said, I would do your homework. Do your homework on some of the products that are on the shelf, okay? Even at Target. All right. And one last thing too is just to reiterate with what creatine works with, it works with strength training, with adequate protein intake, right? That's why I like Longevity Core Plus, because there is another protein added into it. And recovery. So good for recovery of your muscles and just overall system of your body. And again, it doesn't replace movement, nutrition, or any other lifestyle habits, right? It's all about habits here, right? Okay. Any questions? I know some of you are live here, but you can always reach out to me, right? Excuse me. All right. So that is all I have for you about that. If you are interested in trying Longevity Core Plus, reach out to me. You can even comment longevity in the comments, and I'll reach out to you. If you're interested in just taking the product itself and you've never ordered through me, you can get a $10 off coupon code from me, and I will hook you up with that. There's also other ways to save. If you sign up as a Hue and Grace Insider and do auto ship and order something I think it's $100 or more, you get free shipping, which is always a plus, right? And there are other products that would also help. There's a Hydrate Detox. There is our morning supplement. I talked a lot about this last week at the end of this live. And if you're interested in signing up as an advocate, you actually get 25% off everything, right? All your products that you buy. But if you get the Longevity Core Plus, you get package, and you sign up as an advocate, you get the Hydrate Detox and the morning supplement for sure. And I am happy to send that information to you. And it's over $100. I believe it comes out to like $149. You get all that. You get like three things to try. And you get the membership, the advocate membership fee waived, which I think is like, I always forget how much it is. I want to say it's $45, but it's around that. You get that completely waived if you do it that way. And you're going to get free shipping because it's over $100. So it's really cool. Really cool deal there. If you just want to like dive right in and try a few things, okay? Especially if, you know, you're like, oh, I'm healthy. You know, you don't have to check with your doctor, or it's safe for you to take creatine, stuff like that. So let me know. Yeah, let me know. All right. I'm super excited. I don't know. I'm just super excited to talk to you all. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. And I will talk to you soon. All right, everyone. Bye.